Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today I'm going to be doing a long-awaited Q&A. I like to do these every couple of months just to like help, you know, new subscribers kind of learn more about me and help you guys stay up to date about things, because I get common questions in the comment section that I may not answer or may not get to. So that's what today's going to be. Sorry, the lighting will probably change quite a bit throughout the video, but hopefully that doesn't bother you guys too much. So I'm just going to try to get into it because it is nap time for my baby, and that's pretty unpredictable, especially these days. So I'm going to start with some that you guys asked on my YouTube forum. One, what keeps you motivated to work out consistently among all the other tasks that you need to get done? I actually just finished my workout and showered and all that today. I worked out while my son was awake. I think what really helps me stay consistent is this was something that I did long before I had a kid. I was always really consistent with workouts because I enjoy them and they make me feel so good and help my mental health a lot. And then I was consistent during pregnancy and kind of like pretty consistent postpartum, but I have been struggling more the last couple of months than I have in a long time with consistency, just trying to find the time, because now that he's a toddler, things are a lot different. He is a lot more on the go. It's a lot harder to do things while he's awake, and he demands a lot more of my like one-on-one attention, so workouts can be pretty difficult now. But honestly, like the biggest thing for me is just even 10 minutes of movement. It doesn't even have to be a workout, but getting in that groove of 10 minutes a day, whether it's a walk, whether you go outside with your kid, or just do like jumping jacks in your kitchen while you're cooking dinner. Anything where you can get your body moving, I find that like the feeling that you get after just getting your heart rate up just helps me have like a clear head, and I crave that feeling. So that's what makes it more consistent for me, but also just knowing like I'm never going to feel good if I don't make it a habit for me, and you can only make a habit by doing it. So it's just difficult. I think letting go of the idea that it's going to look a certain way too, that you may not be able to just like do your workout all in one chunk. You're probably going to get interrupted by a little person, or they're going to wake up from their nap early, and just being able to go with the flow I think helps a lot. But I also work out from home using the Peloton app on my iPad, and I think that that makes it really more attainable for me. After becoming a mom, what has shifted between you and Austin, and what adjustments have you had to make since becoming a stay-at-home mom? I feel, we were just talking about this, I feel like the newborn phase wasn't that hard for us to adjust. You're just like in bliss, and it's just so like, I don't know, you're just so in love with each other, watching each other love this new human that you made, and everything feels so blissful and easy. And it's like after the first few months that not the excitement, but just like the bliss kind of ends, and you realize, oh, like we have to figure out a new groove. It's not just cozy newborn snuggles, you know what I mean? And so I think months like 5 through 10 were really hard for us to kind of figure out how to delegate tasks and how to share the load of parenthood, because it was really me like carrying everything for a while, just because I didn't know how to ask for what I needed, and I didn't know what I needed. And scheduling date nights, like we try to go once every other week on a date out of the house, but also like every Friday at home. Usually once we put Belle to bed, we'll try to like order in and watch a movie that we both agree on, or play ping pong or the Switch or something. But just really like still finding time to do those things that you did as a couple before kids got involved is important. We still try to play tennis, we still have gone camping, we still play ping pong, we still go on walks, we go hiking, we try to get outside as often as possible. We love to do random trips to like the thrift store and stuff. We still try to make time for a lot of the hobbies that we had prior to kids, and that is like my biggest advice. Obviously, if you can do it safely, like if your hobbies are safe for kids to join, don't just like uproot your entire life for your kids. If it's things you guys both enjoy doing, like include your kids in that. I may be difficult at first and maybe not what you were used to before, but it's definitely worth keeping those interests, because then you're both going to be happy, and then together can be happy. And then as far as like adjustments I've had to make, honestly, like the only thing I can say is really just letting go of expectations. I was a very rigid, like routine person before I had a baby, and I knew that babies aren't routine, and I know that like Well, actually everyone tells you that kids thrive on routine, which may be true, but not all kids do. And also not all kids will even stick to a routine. And even if you have a routine, something's gonna happen to throw a wrench in that. And so I was very routine before having him, and just like having to let go of that expectation that, you know, today may not go anything like how I planned. Like today, I'm hoping to edit a YouTube video and get my house cleaned up and do this and that. None of that may happen. And I don't wanna, I feel like the first few months I would get resentful and be like frustrated that I didn't get to do the things that I had planned for. But now I'm kind of at this point where I'm like, that's okay. You know what I mean? Like each day is going to be so different, and as long as you go into it with just like hopeful anticipation instead of expectation, I don't think you're going to struggle as much. If you have expectations for how long they're going to nap, for how long they're going to sleep, for what time they're going to go to bed, or how they're going to eat, they're just going to, you know, they're going to do their own thing. And it's kind of useless to get all upset about, because that's exactly what we want for them, right? Kind of ties in, what would be your biggest piece of advice for a new mother? I seriously would say to just let it be, like ride the wave, let each day be its own day, and don't expect things like your baby may have slept terrible last night. That doesn't mean they're going to sleep terrible tonight. That doesn't mean they're going to be crabby today. It doesn't mean anything. Just let it be what it is, and you know, let those expectations go. That way you're not this like resentful mother, and you're just kind of going with the flow. And you know, I don't know, I feel like that really is my biggest piece of advice, because if you just kind of take everything for what it is, you're not going to be so panicked and stressed all the time. And I feel like that's the opposite of what like society does right now. Everybody's like, get your kid on a rigid schedule and a rigid routine, and if they do this one day it's going to ruin their sleep habits and blah blah blah. And I just say, whatever. How and where do you start in the Bible to grow in your faith? Do you read it front to back? That's a great question, and I mean, you absolutely can, but I think that that's pretty daunting of a task to take on by yourself if you're kind of starting from square one. But some of the best ways I think to grow in your faith, and like things that I have done that have applied to my life and that have worked, get some reliable devotional books. You guys know I love Daily Grace Co. I have one sitting right here. A study Bible is really great for helping you understand what you're reading. They have like cliff notes at the bottom that can cross-reference different parts of the Bible and kind of break down what it's talking about. If it's more of like an outdated term, it can explain into it. Joining a Bible study group, you can do that virtually. You can find like a small group at church, like getting a community and joining a prayer group. Getting people around you who know that your ultimate goal is to know God more and to develop a better relationship with Him is like the best thing that you can do. Because if you try to do it by yourself, that's great, and you can grow on your own, but we're like designed to act as a family unit. We're all one body of Christ, and we are made to support each other. So if you get involved with people, they can help support you and answer questions and point you in the right direction. But yeah, I would just start with like setting aside time every day to just be open to reading your Bible and open to what God wants to reveal to you, and be in constant communication through prayer with Him. And you can't go wrong with that. Like, your faith will grow, and your knowledge and wisdom, it will all grow as long as you're setting aside that time for Him. Do you guys plan on having more kids? Lots of those questions. Yes, I would love to have more kids. Would absolutely love to have more kids. If you could start all over as a YouTube creator, what advice would you give to us? I'm not really sure that I would do it all that differently. I mean, if I started now versus when I did, my videos would be different, because I originally started this channel as a fitness channel. Like, that was my passion at the time, and I don't know, I look back at those videos and I cringe, but it's also just part of my life story. And then I started to gain a lot of my following when I started posting Faith Friday videos. So I was like a mix between a fitness channel and a faith channel, and then eventually just a faith channel, and then eventually now motherhood, lifestyle, showing how my faith is put into my everyday walk type of channel. So I do have like a decent amount of subscribers that I know don't watch my videos anymore, because I don't post what they originally came here for. So maybe that would be my advice, that like, if you are going to start a channel, know what you want to post about. But I also don't want to say that, because I think that ties you to a certain thing. And I love, like, there's certain YouTubers that I've followed for years that are now posting videos that are nothing like what they posted when I started to follow them, and I love it. Like, I love just changing with the seasons. And so I don't know what advice I would give. Like, practical advice, I would just say show up, like, keep posting even if your videos are only getting 10 views. Like, if you only have 5 subscribers, just keep posting, because that is ultimately like what YouTube wants you to do, and that's what people want to see, is you continue to show up. And that's my only advice, because that's all I've done. And to grow my channel, I've just like kept showing up year after year, even when I wasn't making any money and people were making fun of me and people weren't watching my videos, or even when I started doing faith videos, like, it was hard to show up because I was getting so much backlash, like, you're so unqualified to make these videos, or whatever, judging me for wearing makeup or a tank top or just silly little stuff like that. I feel like just persevering through all of the yuck that can come with having a YouTube channel, that's my advice. Just keep doing it. If it is something you really want to do, just keep doing it, and eventually it will work out. I do believe that. What was your almost name, your husband's almost name, and Bellamy's almost name? I don't think Austin had an almost name. I'm pretty sure that they just like picked Austin. My almost name was Desiree, and Bellamy's name was Bellamy from like 5 weeks. Even if we were gonna have a girl, I was still gonna choose that name. So nothing too exciting to spill for that. Do you work now? If yes, how do you deal with motherhood and your job? For work, I do social media, YouTube, so like I can get money through brand deals, through Instagram and YouTube. I don't make like a ton of money, definitely, like, we rely on my husband's income for the most part, but I do try to bring in some income. And I don't know how to answer the question of how do I deal with it, because I feel like I'm not great at it. Like, it's hard to manage my time and find the balance between like doing work and sticking to this and wanting my channel to grow and wanting to like do this for my family, to provide money for my family, but also not wanting to like take my job as a mom, as a stay-at-home mom, for granted, and to like show up for him and be present and not want him to just constantly see me on my computer or my phone. So I wish I had an answer to that, but I really do not. Lots of questions on how Bean is. It says haven't seen him lately. He's literally laying in the sun right here. He wakes Belle up from his naps all the time with kisses, and they do great together. He's living his best life. He's gained like 10 pounds though. He's chunking up from us being lazy and not taking him on as many walks. He just gets to play with us throughout the day, but yeah, he's doing good. What are some of your hobbies? I am like very multifaceted with hobbies and interests. They change all the time, but I love to crochet, I love to paint, I love to draw, I like to sing and play guitar, and I love sports like soccer, volleyball. We love like spike ball, camping, gardening, thrifting. I love home design and home decor and DIY projects. I love to cook. Like, I really love to cook and bake. I seriously love doing that, especially in the colder months. I don't know, I'm very multifaceted. Oh, reading. I love reading. My Kindle. I think I've read 18 books already this year. Favorite outside activities for little ones and tips to wean babies. Tips to wean babies from breastfeeding. I have no tips for weaning because I literally am still nursing. Like, I do not even know how to begin with that. I'm nervous about it. I don't know how that's gonna go for him because he is such a booby baby. I have no tips. I wish I did. I'll let you know when we figure that out. But outside activities we do, I mean, like, they don't need much. Like, I'll just take him outside and he will entertain himself just by walking around the yard. We have like this little plastic slide we got for free on the side of the road and a swing. But most of the time I just let him like pick things out of the garden, and he'll ask me about it. Like, what's this? What's that? He likes to pick the grass. We walk around and point at things and talk about what they are. Just like engaging with what's around him is his most fun thing. But we have a water table. We do like sand activities. I do lots of sensory play outside when the weather's nice. That way it's mess free inside. But yeah, babies don't need much outside. They just love, at least mine, he just loves to be outside. How to stay motivated. Sometimes I feel like I'm in a repetitive, hazy mood and mindset. This is a really, really good question or point, but I feel like everybody feels like that, especially stay-at-home moms, because we are in the same environment with the same people, and like with kids, they do tell you they thrive off routine. So you literally are doing the same thing every single day, and it can feel mundane, but just like coming back to the perspective, like a biblical, holy perspective, and remembering that this is like holy work, raising children, raising little people who are eventually going to go out into the world, and like making sure we do a good job with them and pointing them towards Christ, and understanding that God sees what you do every day. He sees you cooking that breakfast, lunch, and dinner, doing the cleanup, cleaning up the toys. Like he sees you doing morning routine and bedtime routine, and he loves that you do that, and that you do that for your kids, and that you're honoring him through doing those things. And so whenever I feel like hazy and bored and like, does this mean anything? I'm doing the same thing every day. I come back to that perspective and I'm like, yeah, this means a lot. How can I make this more meaningful? How can I look at this in a way where it's more important to me? And also just like changing things up, I think helps when you feel like in a rut. Just, you know, getting out of your house, changing up your routine, changing your house, like rearrange your furniture or something. I think that helps a lot. It helps me. Like, I'll paint the walls. If you see me painting my walls, rearranging furniture, redoing anything, you just know that I'm having a crisis. I'm having like a moment. That's how you know. But I think that that really does help, just, you know, coming back to the mindset that this is meaningful work. The things you do, the everyday, like the meaning of life is found in the mundane little tasks that we do every day. It's not some elaborate, like, you know, crazy plan to become the most successful person in the world. Like, real life is lived in those tiny mundane moments. So just reminding yourself of that and having a fresh perspective. But I definitely struggle with that, especially in the winter. That's when I start to feel like every day is blurring into itself, and I can fall into a very dark mindset very fast. So just kind of knowing what to look for and warning signs, and when to just like check yourself and be like, you know what, we're not doing this. Favorite thing about the season of life that you're in right now, and one thing you're looking forward to in the near future? My favorite thing right now is definitely his personality. Like, Belle's personality is so fun right now, and I feel like we have like an actual relationship, like a dynamic where we go back and forth, and he makes me laugh and I make him laugh, and it's just so much fun. It feels like I'm living the part of motherhood that I like dreamed about when I was a little girl, and I just am really finding a lot of joy in that every day right now, which is just so great. One thing I'm looking forward to, I look forward to a lot, I don't know, experiencing like holidays this year with him, because he'll be old enough to kind of be excited by them, and experiencing that like with my husband as well. I'm looking forward to like cozy season, I guess. I don't know, I kind of am always looking forward to just like anything. Pretty simple gal. Where do you get your Bibles and devotional books? I get pretty much all of my devos from Daily Grace Co. They do sales all the time. They're wonderful, amazing, chef's kiss. I love them. I've done like 10 devos by them. My Bible is the ESV Journal Bible from Amazon. I love it. It's so tiny and cute, and it's my favorite. Would you do a home birth / birth at a birthing center for your next baby? I'm assuming that you don't know, but I did my birth, Bellamy's birth was at a birth center. I did a water birth. It was literally amazing. I have nothing but positive things to say about it. I had the best birth experience, which then led to me having like the best postpartum experience. I definitely want to do that again. I would be open to a home birth, but I don't think that we have enough space for that. The only room that a birth tub would fit in is our living room, and it's definitely not the room that I would choose to give birth in. I would rather give birth in a different room in our house, but we just don't have the room. So I don't know. I think I would still rather stick to a birth center, because it gives you that home birth feel, but like you're not at your home. What are some of the jobs you did before becoming a stay-at-home mom? I was a waitress, a nanny, I worked as like a data entry person at this trucking company, and then I moved up as a supervisor for like random drug and alcohol testing department and like keeping secure records of people and things like that. And that was really, I don't know, it was an interesting job. Definitely not like fun, but I was good at it. And then I worked from home. I did online fitness coaching, and then here I am. I did YouTube for a while. There was like a year and a half where I did just YouTube and sponsorships, and then now I'm a stay-at-home mom. Salary is not great. How do you deal with negative advice and judgment from other moms? I don't. I do not care. I really, honestly, I do not care. I don't know why, but that has just never bothered me. I feel like I just am very confident in the decisions I make for my family and for my son. Like, I know him better than anyone, so I really do not care. I will listen and I will genuinely consider, is that something that I should change? Is that something that I should do for my kid? But most of the time I'm like, no, I like what I'm doing. I think he likes what I'm doing. I think it works for us, and I don't really give much thought to it, to be honest. I'm just very confident in what I'm doing. And if there were something where I am questioning myself a little bit, I don't take it harshly. Like when people offer advice, I'm like, I'll just think about it, you know? Because most of the time, I don't think people have ill will. They just do genuinely think that their way is the best way. But if you're a mom, I think you know that what you, like, nobody knows your kids better than you do. Nobody knows what your kids need better than you do. And so I just really do not give it the time of day, because I'm like, what do you mean? Each kid is so different too. Like, what that worked for their kid isn't gonna work for your kid, period. Can you recommend some books? I always see you on your Kindle. I have every book that I've read this year saved to a book highlight on my Instagram. I have like reviews on them, and it's all saved there. So if you want to see what I've been reading, it's on there. How do you find balance between boundaries and not being a jerk? I would say I veer more towards being a jerk, probably, is what people would consider it. But I haven't been great at this until I had my son. I've never set boundaries until I had my son. I've never felt the need to do it. I've just always been like a doormat of a person, saying yes to everything. And I married a yes man. He says yes to everything. And so when we had our son, it was a lot to adjust to, because I realized I had no boundaries and my life was a mess. And so I just have slowly become more confident and knowing, like, I think it took a lot of time for me to sit back and like evaluate what I needed and to figure out what boundaries I needed to set. But now I confidently set them. I say, I'm sorry, that's not going to work for us. I'm sorry, we won't be coming. Like, we've had a long week. That's that. I don't feel like the need to give in-depth excuses when I tell people no. Like, I just kind of am like, no. I still sometimes will be like, no, we have this going on, but you don't need to give people an explanation. You can say no, let your no be no, and let your yes be yes. I'm proud of the work that I've had to put in to set boundaries, because I would say that the way our life was set up before, I feel like a lot of people struggled with us setting those boundaries. But now everybody kind of understands, and it's all working. It's only hard in the beginning when you set boundaries, but just be respectful about it, and people will be, most of the time, respectful to you. Sometimes there will be a little pushback, but they'll end up understanding. How do you handle sleep deprivation and remain such a calm soul? Thank you for saying that I'm a calm soul. I do not always feel that way. Honestly, I really don't. Sleep deprivation is hard, and I am still not sleeping through the night, and I haven't had like a night like that in a very, very, very long time. He slept through the night the first like 4 months of his life, and then just never again. And we've been through seasons where he was waking up like 15 times a night. I don't need sleep advice. I have talked to everyone. I've tried everything. He has high needs, low sleep needs, and it just is what it is. But I think just my biggest piece of advice is, like, after a long night, I mean, the day gets so much better once the sun comes up. Nighttime can feel like prison. It can. But as soon as the sun comes up, I'm like, oh, my life isn't terrible. Like, I don't know why my mind just like switches. But also not looking at the clock when your baby is waking up. I don't check the clock anymore because I don't want to know. If I was up 30 minutes ago, I don't want to know. I'm just gonna take care of him, get him back to sleep, and go back to bed. Because I was checking the clock and logging every wake up, and so I was seeing how many times I was waking up, and I was getting frustrated at how many times I was waking up. So just like not looking at the clock helps a lot, but also understanding when the morning comes around, you don't have to approach your day like, ugh, I only got 3 hours of sleep last night, so today's gonna suck. Like already having that in your head that today's gonna suck because you didn't sleep. What if instead you took a second and were like, you know what, last night was hard, but today could still be a good day. I'm not gonna let that ruin today. And just like praying, you know, dear God, I only got 3 hours of sleep last night. Can you please multiply that and make it feel like I got 10 hours of sleep? The amount of days where I've had to just pray that he would take what I got and just multiply it, because you know, you still got to show up as a mom, and I don't want sleep deprivation to be an excuse for me to be like rude and impatient to my kid and my husband and just be miserable to be around, because ultimately there's nothing I can do about the fact that I am a mom and I have a baby that wakes up at night. There's really nothing I can do besides have a positive mindset about it. All that to say, I have had many moments where I have been short fused. I have lost my patience with Austin. I've been resentful towards him. I have lost my patience with Belle. I have been the mom that I don't want to be, and I've had to ask for forgiveness from Bellamy and from Austin and like own up to my mistakes, because I am a mom. I lose my patience. I have days where it's all too much. I get overwhelmed, overstimulated. So no, I am not always calm, but I try to just like constantly keep myself in check and be like, how can I take lemons and make lemonade, you know? And I think that I will have a much easier time with baby number 2 whenever that happens, just having gone through what I have gone through with sleep deprivation and things like that. Ways that you love to fill your own cup. I'll end on this question because I think he might be waking up soon. I'm still working on this. I don't really know how I fill my own cup. I feel like I'm kind of rediscovering that. But like when I get the chance to, I love to sit down and read. I love to journal. I love to read my Bible. Baking like a dessert or something is really therapeutic for me. Taking a bath and reading, or doing like a full skincare moment. Just laying in bed, honestly, and like vegging out and not having any responsibilities. Getting outside, like taking a walk or going to the park is really rejuvenating for me. I love nature. I love to be outside in nature. So like floating in our little pool or just sitting out in the sun when I get a chance to is very rejuvenating for me. And like occasionally I will have like, when I want to fill up my own cup, I will have Austin sit with Belle and I'll go out and get like a coffee from my favorite coffee shop and just browse around the thrift store. But mostly what fills my cup I can do here at home, and I really love to do it here at home. I just don't get the chance to do it like uninterrupted. But yeah, I feel like I'm still kind of discovering what like fills my cup, and working on doing that more often, definitely. But I hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A. I feel like it was kind of like rapid fire because I was trying to get through it before he woke up. I never know how long he's gonna nap for. But I hope you guys enjoyed it and got some of your questions answered. And if you did enjoy it, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. It helps support my channel. And make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. That way you don't miss out on future videos. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Make sure you go out of your way to love on someone. Make them feel extra special because they are. Bye, guys.